Howdy everybody in YouTube land. What we have in front of us today is yet another Color Classic analog board. I've been seeing a lot of these, but I don't mind. Now, this one's a little different than the ones we've worked on before. This one looks like someone has attempted to repair this and performed a partial recap job on it. Quite poorly, I might add, but at least it's been done. Um, just to nitpick on it for a little bit, we've got some issues here. Like this one's still solid, but that one actually will move. It's broken free from the board. Same thing with that one. That one's really bad. And this one is way oversized, just like the one back here is way oversized. So really, before I can even begin to troubleshoot this thing, I'm probably going to have to strip all of this down. Maybe. I don't know yet. I'll double check everything and make sure it's okay. But I definitely am going to have to get the parts on order just to get this done properly before I actually send it out to the customer. But in the meantime, I could probably just use it like this for testing to figure out what's going on with it. But someone has attempted a partial recap and it still doesn't work for some reason. I don't know the history behind it. But my biggest concern is the condition of that transformer right there, because these are unobtainium. And if anyone has watched any of my previous videos, you can use the LC 550 and 575 transformer in here with caveats, because it's not the same winding ratio. It's a little bit different. But it will work in a pinch. It's just not perfect. But the problem is, I don't know what's going on with this board, but one thing I did notice right away is right here. See that white film capacitor in there with that nice crack right down the middle of it? I've got my work cut out for me, because why did that split? Makes me curious what's going on with the rest of the power supply circuit, especially considering we had a problem with the LC or Macintosh TV board with these circuits here not functioning properly to provide proper regulation. And it's the same design. So makes me wonder, we've got some things we have to check out. So without further ado, I'm going to pull this shield off because the shield was left on it. So we can look at the bottom and see what's going on. Also, this capacitor is still original. And this one almost always needs changed because it gets baked out by these two Zener diodes over here, those 15 volt Zeners. So, alright, without further ado, let's get this thing apart so I can do a inspection of what is going on with this thing. Alright, so looking at the bottom of this board, it's frightening. So, I'm looking at the recap solder job. They're like completely broken free from the board here. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, that one didn't solder well. These definitely didn't solder well. You can really kind of see it there. And it's kind of all over this board. Like, we've got it going on over here. The one up by the flyback that looked like it was too big, well, if we look at it, you can see it's broken free. Plus, we have the natural broken solder joints that these Color Classics are just known for. But anyways, I can't rag on the person too hard about the recap job, because the thing is, this person could have been just starting out brand new to all of this and doing a little bit of internet research to know that this is a problem with these particular boards and you need to put capacitors in it. So they just recapped the board hoping it was going to work. Well, yeah, that's never going to work properly. Soldering is an art and it's a skill. You've got to kind of learn how all that works. So for all I know, it was probably a kid that was learning for the first time on how to work this. You got to start somewhere, right? So, but anyways, that is likely why this board's not working, is because we've got to fix up all of that first. And then here's that film capacitor which failed, which we're going to need to replace. It looks like, just from the design, it's a snubbing network or coupling network that goes between the primary and secondary grounds. So something catastrophic happened there. There shouldn't have been that much of a difference between the two ground potentials. That has me concerned. But we shall see. Anyways, I have to fix all of this. I'm going to order all the right capacitors anyways, because I don't even know if those are the right ones, but they should be good enough for testing. I just need to clean all of that up. But yeah, this is not how we solder. This is not how we do it. This is what they should look like. Nice, clean, and fresh. That is not what they're supposed to look like. So, alright. Well, that's a quick evaluation. I already know what lies ahead. I'm just going to pull this off of a parts board. But anyways, let's get the desoldering iron on, get the soldering iron on. Also, when it comes to resoldering capacitors, the iron matters, the temperature at which you use matters, the tip matters, flux matters. It all matters. It all intermingles with one another. So, and you can see all the scratching going on here. It makes me wonder if the soldering iron they were using was just not the right temperature. Perhaps they were using one of those cheap $7 Harbor Freight specials. I don't know, but that's not how we do things, so we need to fix that up. Alright, so upon further inspection, I pulled the two caps out that were huge, and here's the problem. The caps that were installed were bipolar caps with no polarity. Can't use that. We need low ESR electrolytics there. And we have the same problem here with this 1000 at 16. It's a bipolar cap. Why they make a bipolar that big, I have no idea, but they do. So, we're just going to have to get a cap kit. I'm going to have to get all of them ordered. Also, I pulled the film capacitor out that was cracked, and guess what? It's a reefa. So, there you go, guys. You got to be concerned about the white reefas. Crap. So we're going to have to order that too, because all of my boards are going to have this same capacitor in it. We can't have reefas. Looks like the white ones are having the same problem. Thanks to the magic of the post office, when it works at least, we have another capacitor kit. It's just easier to buy them already pre-made instead of just going through the hassle of figuring it all out. Some cases I do that, but if someone has already done it and it's just as simple as just clicking the button, I'm going to do it. So that's what we're going to do with this one, because time is of essence here. And we're going to go ahead and recap this board. Alright, so this thing's fully done so far. All of the caps have been replaced with the proper capacitor kit. I had some extras left over for some reason. Maybe there's a couple different revisions of this board, but I have them. I'll just throw them in the bag with the rest of the parts. So caps are done. All of the suspect solder joints that are known for problems on this thing has also been done, and the Y-class capacitor has been replaced. Only thing we have to do now is we have to test it, which means I gotta go pull out my Color Classic. So let's see. There's a method for my madness. All right. Here goes nothing. Zoom out. That ain't good. That ain't good. See, that's the problem with time. Time is a killer of electronics. Anyways. Well, let's see. Let me reseat some RAM. Because, well, you know how that can be sometimes. Okay. Dead motherboard. Well, that sucks. Motherboard died on this one. Great! I wonder what that could be. And that's my only motherboard, too. I do not have a motherboard for this machine at all. So, I mean, I got the Mac TV board, but I wonder what the hell. It's got to be one of the DRAMs has gone bad with time. See, that's the problem with time. Crucial. Well, let me remove the crucial RAM. See if that's what it is. Because you never know. Well, I guess the good news is the power supply runs. So, that's a good thing. Well, let me figure this one out. And actually, there's even more strange behavior, because it was in the middle of the chime and it stopped. Now, when I try to turn it on, look at the LED. It just shuts down. It's going into... Now, that's, well, that could be why it's death chiming too, because maybe the 5 volts is too low. That'll do it. So, alright, well, maybe this has the same problem that the other analog board had, where the 5 volts, or not the 5 volts, but the TDA 4605 was bad and it was doing all kinds of strange things. So actually, I'll tell you what we can do to rule that out. We're just going to turn you on. I'm going to hit it with freeze spray. See what that does. Nope. Try that one. Yep. There it is. There it is. The opto isolator's bad. See that? Wow. Alright. Okay. Alright. So my motherboard didn't go bad. It's the power supply. Wow. So that's actually good to have on video, because that's a good troubleshooting method when you don't have stable voltage. Because I don't know the order in which the videos are going to come out, but there's a video that I tested a 575 style analog board, 550 analog board, that was doing strange things too. And I replaced the opto coupler and the 4805 or 4605, and it was fine. Now, this Color Classic board has the opposite problem, or on the opposite power supply. So it was death chiming, now it won't come on, and when I freeze spray the opto isolator back there, it will fire up. So that means what we need to do is we need to replace that opto isolator. So in order to do that, we got to take this board back out of here again. I didn't want to couple this ground cable on this because it's chafing this wire, because I've been testing so many analog boards. So what I've done is just, I'm using a clip lead. Alright, so we have that out of the way. Got to unplug you. Then you. Now, since this was just energized and I just heard high voltage, I was just energized, I just heard high voltage, I'm not just going to pop the anode cap off the top like that. That would be silly. So instead, what we're going to do is, I've got one of these little high voltage probes. So I'm going to use this high voltage probe, and we're going to discharge the CRT. And actually, I need to ground it at the CRT and not at the thing. So just shove it in here. Yep, there's actually a charge under there. And this resistor will bleed the charge off without going pop. Alright, so yeah, we're good. So we'll just pull that off like so, because I know that we're discharged, and the analog board is now safe to remove. Alright, so our problem is not the logic board, our problem is the analog board, and I'm going to show you right now what it is, because you couldn't see it on camera. This right here is defective, so I got to pull one of those off of a parts board to fix this fault. Now, fortunately, I've got a bunch of parts boards, because I went on eBay a few years ago and I bought a pile of LC 550, 575 style logic boards, not logic boards, analog boards for parts. I don't know the origin or anything like that, and I bought them for the flyback transformers because I've already needed to use one or two to fix other people's color classics. So I've got parts. I've stolen parts off of that stuff, so we're good there. All right, so what we need to do is we need to turn that back on, turn that back on, and remove this guy right there, which the part number on that is a CNY75GB. It's defective. And I don't know if it's because the cap goo got in there, because I noticed when I was resoldering this transformer, it smelled really badly like capacitor goo. So that's not good. But what we're going to do is just replace it. So, which means we need to take this off again like so. Yeah, I've stole so many parts off this board. I mean, I could buy a new one, but I already have it on hand, so why not just use what I've already got, right? Set you out of the way. Then I'm going to take you and put you on this board, like so. So we're just going to go ahead and solder you down. Okay. Now with any bit of luck at all, that should solve our problem. Alright, so we're going to take you and put you back in the friggin' retaining thingy. Alright, so let's try this again. Because that was pain. That was pain. Why won't you do? There we go. First you don't succeed, you force it in. Okay. Now I want to take the RAM, put it back in my logic board because it wasn't the problem. Mind you, I've not fired this machine up in a couple of years. Okay. That's a good sign. Do we have a picture? No, we don't. Oh, there we go. I heard it kick up now. High voltage. Oh, yes. There we go. Wow. Really? 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 Yeah, really. Okay, that's excellent news. The analog board is working perfectly fine, and my logic board's not dead. So that's a good thing on both accounts. So there we go. It's perfect. It's working. New caps, resoldered, And ultimately that was probably the original problem to begin with, which is why it was sent to me. But it's all taken care of now. So we're good to go. I'm going to let this run for a bit, and we're going to go ahead and see how it holds up. But anyways, that pretty much concludes this particular part of the video, or this video in general. So if you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.